Luber, should we go put on the ARP studs? Yeah? You want to do it? Let's go. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Come here. Alright guys, so today I'm going to attempt to install these ARP studs on my Subaru WRX 2014 hatchback. The reason why I say attempt again is because I do not have a press. I'm gonna try to do these without a press. Let's try it! Before we start this install video, I just want to talk about the subscriber meet we have coming up on November 5th, 2016. It's going to be at Treasure Island. I'll have details below. Check it out, guys. It'd be awesome if you guys came out. If you can make it, that is right in between San Francisco, so it's in Northern California. If you guys are out this way, go ahead and make the trip. You need to bring a bag of groceries or multiple non-perishable items, because we're going to be donating and giving all that food back to the local community. So it's going to be really awesome. White Wing STI, Rodell's going to be there, and Clint, Cali WRX will be there as well. Should be pretty cool. So make it on out if you guys can, and we'll see you guys soon. Luber, what do you think about the jack, dude? Like those? A little bit approves of them, so that's good. These are all the tools you are going to need to install the ARP wheel studs. So if you guys haven't seen my front install video, go ahead and check out that eye up here in the corner. Right up in this little area, there should be a little drop down eye. These are all the things that I use. So I used a 14mm wrench. Used a little bolt for removing the brake rotor. I have a stack of washers. The proper size nut that is the same as the threads on these bolts. 12mm socket. I have a 19mm socket, a 14mm socket, and a 17mm socket. A BFH, a ratchet, and a torque wrench. Also a drill. This is not necessary, but it definitely speeds up the process. So now that we got this exposed, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the caliper off here. Then we're gonna go ahead and try to remove the disc. I'm gonna use a 14mm socket. I'm gonna remove the 2 bolts so I can take the caliper off. And this one here. Now, just gonna go ahead and lift off the caliper and set that on top of the control arm. So now I'm gonna remove the rotor. Now, if you notice in the front here, there are 2 threaded holes. You can use a bolt and actually back that off if your assembly is having issues. This is an inner drum brake for the emergency brake right here. So you gotta make sure to release the e-brake. That way you can get this assembly off. All right, so I had a little bolt laying around, so I'm gonna try this out real quick and see how it works. Just tightening this up a little bit. That's getting that side loose. I didn't have 2 of these, so I'm just gonna do that side first and then repeat on the other side. It's coming off slowly but surely. There it goes. Snapped it right out of there. Now we'll just be able to pop this off. Cool. That's what it looks like inside. That is your drum. This is your e-brake assembly right here. Okay, so here is one of the studs. So this is the idea. Basically, you're gonna knock out a stud, which is gonna come out the backside with a hammer or something like that. Now, what we gotta do though is we gotta get this longer stud through here, through this hole. So that gives us a little bit of geometry issues, right? Because we gotta get this straight through. You know, it might be able to do a little bit of this at the beginning, but eventually it's gonna have to come straight through. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm loosening the bolts behind here. You see that one? There's 4 right there. I'm loosening them up so that hopefully I can move the axle out a bit. You see how that has a little bit of play now? I took all 4 of these bolts right here out of the back side of the hub area right back here. So what that did is it made this whole assembly loosen up quite a bit. Now, hopefully, this is basically like where your axle can move a little bit. Still kind of interferes with the shoe of the brake pad over on this side. That's how like deep I can get it, okay? So I'm gonna knock just one out and see if we can do it. Because if we can do it to one, then I can do it to all. So for this, I'm grabbing a BFH, and I'm also gonna grab an old lug nut. Put it on the end. There we go. Okay guys, so watch this. So I have quite a bit of space in between here, okay? Now if I put it in at a slight angle, I can get the tip in it. Right there. Got the tip in. Now I can gently, you may want to tape up your threads. I can gently rotate, and now that sure does look like a stud. It looks like a stud installed. So we can do that to all 5 of them and then repeat the process on the other side. I see you have to slightly rotate. That's gonna get you that extra little bit of angle to get the stud in. So when I turn it, boom, loosens up, and I can get it in there. Now you're gonna have to play around with what angle you're gonna get it in at. You can do this without having to pull that off and pull off the hub. So very cool. So I just got this in the mail yesterday. Pretty stoked on this one. My first Spyderco. I've actually never had a Spyderco knife. So this is the Spyderco Endura 4. This thing's pretty badass, pretty big, and it is some badass steel. VG10, super, super sharp. I'm not even trying to like really even cut this, and I mean, bam. It goes right through it. We'll install the rest of these. Drop it down, get a little bit of a rotation. Now rotate the hub ever so slightly. There it is. Boom, right there. So we got 2 in. Rotate it, clearance, cool. Get on in there, so yeah, cool stuff. Oh yeah, and then once you do this side, obviously you gotta do the other side. I'm not gonna film the other side because I feel that it's gonna be pretty much identical. You know, if there is any issues, I will let you guys know, but really it should just be pretty much exactly the same. I bought a stack of washers and I bought a couple nuts at the hardware store. Now these are the correct pitch, get what it is. What I do is I use this and then I just stack that right over the top. Now what you want to do is just line this up, just eyeball it, you know, make sure it's on there straight. And then you can do this with a wrench, but I like to use my little impact gun because it works really well. And I just line it up, put my finger on there, make sure it's nice and straight, and watch it drive it on home. Yep, that's good. I'm just gonna do this 4 more times. Go ahead and thread this on, get it lined up, and drive it on home. And the last one on this side. There you have it. It's beautiful. It's pretty. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and reinstall the drum. You could also adjust your e-brake while you're at it if you want to. If you need to tighten it up, you can turn this little guy right here, tighten your e-brake up, and make those adjustments. So we gotta go ahead and reinstall all 4 of those bolts. You guys see those back there? Those were these bolts right here that you take off the backside. I'm gonna go ahead and put those back in. I can't really get a good camera angle on it because it's pretty tight space. A deep 14mm will do the trick. So I got all of those bolts torqued back down. Basically that thing is nice and tight and back on there. I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the caliper. Slide that on there. And now we can go ahead and reinstall the bolts on the back. So we got this one right down here. Go ahead and install it real quick. We'll get the top one. Now we can go ahead and grab our wheel. I need to get these tires rotated inside to outside. There's quite a bit of camber wear on the tires. So that's something I'm gonna be have to doing soon. Right, so those are looking good. Sorry, my wheels are like super dirty. I haven't cleaned my car recently. Very, very dirty. it rained, it got crazy. So yep, that's what they look like. They're peeking through. They look really nice. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just torque these all down. And that's pretty much it, guys.
Lower it on down.
All right, guys, so they are all installed on the car. Cool, we're all done. So thanks a lot, guys, for the people that were bugging me like, hey, when are you gonna install those rear ARP studs? And today was the day, so thanks a lot, guys. Comment below, share, like. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later, guys, and wrench on. All right, so here it is, guys. Oh, it's Wilbert. Hey, Wilbert, just chilling. It's not Wilbert, but it's this right here. So it's a little net, so it's a rear cargo seat net. So we're gonna go ahead, open this bad boy up and install it real quick.